need to know right now? I want you to concentrate on the number 1, 2, or 3. What do you need to know right now? This is for all my signs. Anybody who's watching, this is a timeless reading. What do you need to know right now? If you chose message number 1, what you need to know right now is you are at a crossroads right now in your life and you're wanting to move forward, but there is a difficult decision that must be made. And the decision will serve you well if you use your head with this one. If you use your head with this one, not your heart. Now, I know it's typical of a lot of spiritual teachers, life coaches, therapists, etc. I happen to be all 3. To tell you that you should always use your heart. That's not always true. Sometimes our hearts can lead us astray. Sometimes our hearts can make us commit unspeakable things because we were so in love with somebody and we couldn't believe how they betrayed us, right? Sometimes your heart can lead you to somebody who is highly manipulative, all because your heart said to go in a certain direction. So the heart is not always right. Yes, the heart in its most high vibrational state, when it's in its purest form and using discernment and the ability to know with deep intuitive wisdom what is right, what is wrong with you, is the best thing to use. But often our heart gets mistaken. And often our heart wishes and hopes for something that the head knows is not good for us. In this situation, you are being asked to use your head. The Queen of Swords is like the bad bitch of the tarot deck, for lack of a better terminology. She is the one that you don't mess with. And it's not like the Queen of Wands where she has a lot of that fire energy, that bluff and bravado, and she needs to be loud about it. The Queen of Swords is subtle and calculating. And she is very, and I don't mean in a scary sociopathic way, I mean like in a, she keeps her stuff to herself, and she's always planning her next move, and she always keeps that thought up in the head center, the third eye, the crown chakra. She's not in the realm of the heart chakra as much like the Queen of Cups is, and she's not in the sacral like the Queen of Wands is. She's up in the crown, and she's in that third eye. And we too can access our intuition with our head, not just our hearts. Intuition also can be found through intellectual discernment. I believe there are different types of intuition. There is that visceral gut instinct we have that comes from the heart and from the gut, from the sacral chakra and the heart chakra. But there also is that more discerning, intellectual crown chakra, third eye intuition. And this is what the Queen of Swords is asking us to do. You are at a crossroads right now, and there is some decision you've been agonizing about, or something you've been wanting to do or not do, and you haven't acted on it yet. Queen of Swords says if you have a thought or a feeling, go with the thought. Go with what your head is reassuring you to do. Don't let your heart lead the way in this one. Because it is in through this calculation, this planning, this discernment, formulating what you'll put up with, what you won't, where you see yourself in the next 5 months, 5 years, 10 days, whatever. And calculating that and discerning that and figuring out what's right, what's wrong with you, for you, regardless of what it is that you're going through right now. That's going to lead you ahead on the path of destiny. That's going to help you move towards what you really need to go towards right now. It's not going to be just acting in the moment all the time on the heart. There will be times in your life where you do need to use the heart. But this time, Spirit's asking you to use the mind. Allow the mind to take over on this one. If you chose message number 2, what do you need to hear right now? What you need to hear right now is you have been going through some kind of cycle, and it's like you've hit the repeat button. And because of that, you felt a little held back. And that energy has got you sitting here in your illusions, wondering why something just is not working. Okay? So we have the 3 of Cups reversed, which indicates a lack of a celebration, disappointment, downtroddenness. The Three of Swords reversed indicates the heartbreak from the past or the heartbreak that you are healing from. The Wheel of Fortune reverse indicates a negative karmic cycle, and if you don't want to paint it that way, I don't want to scare you guys, it doesn't have to be negative karmic cycle. It just means a cycle that continuously repeats itself that you cannot seem to break yourself from. Is there some habit that you keep unconsciously hitting the repeat button on over and over again? Is there some type of person that you keep dating over and over again in different forms? Because often when we end up in negative relationships, you may find yourself dating the same person in a different body. So one ex may seem just like the other ex, right? Now, I'm not speaking about myself. I have been choosing to stay out of that whole environment for quite some time, for a few years now. As a spiritual healer, I have to retain my energy. But when I say we, I'm talking about we as in people, we as in men and women in humanity. I'm speaking generally, not about myself. So when we talk about the Three of Swords, this talks about heartbreak that you had in the past, in the recent past, that is still residually hanging around you, but you are lifting it from your shoulders. The lack of celebration that you find is due to your own illusions and not seeing the forest through the trees. And repeating and repeating and repeating this Wheel of Fortune karma. What karma are you repeating over and over and over again? What pattern are you repeating without recognizing that it's no longer serving you? What can you do without? Who can you do without? These are the questions you need to ask yourself, number 2. Because I have the strong feeling that whoever chose message number 2, as I said, is probably dating the same person, if not the exact same person you keep breaking up with and getting back together with. It is different people who all act the same. So maybe you've attracted a lot of narcissists. If not narcissists, maybe just a lot of users. Maybe you've attracted a lot of people who, you're very attracted to, but there's no substance. Or maybe you're going after people that are emotionally unavailable. Or maybe you're going after people who are materialistic. There's nothing in theory wrong with those things if that's what you want. But if you don't want those things and you keep going after them because maybe you're attracted to the package, maybe you need to reconsider what you want versus what you need. And this can also have something to do with locations you are in or jobs. Do you keep doing the same types of jobs only to quit one job and have the same problems at the other job? You need to figure out what pattern it is you're caught in right now, because in identifying that pattern and the toxicity of that pattern and why you keep choosing this pattern, you can break free from it and you can turn the Wheel of Fortune upright, and then it will turn in your favor and you will feel more relaxed. You'll have something to celebrate. You'll have more optimism. You will break through the illusion of the Four of Cups, and you will remove this Three of Swords where it won't even be hanging around you altogether. If you chose message number 3, what you need to know right now, what do you need to know right now? That just flew out. Take a chance. And that really wanted to make itself known. So whoever is listening to number 3, and I got chills, that's spirit speaking to me whenever I get goosebumps if a card flies out and that happens. That spirit really wants you to know this. You need to take a chance on something. There's something you've been waiting on or you've been thinking of and you've been fearing. I feel like it's a place, person, or thing. It's always about that, right, guys? So what is it that you've been dying to do, but you haven't done? How can you make that happen? If you can't do it now, how can you make plans towards it? Has there been a place you've always wanted to go to? Has there been a type of person you've always wanted to know? Has there been a type of person you've always wanted to be? You can always reinvent yourself. Has there been a profession or a hobby you've wanted to pursue? What is it that's going to shake your life up in taking this chance? The Fool upright is a very beautiful card because it talks about the breath of life being created through inspiration and the chances that we take. And I don't mean life literally like you'll die if you don't take chances. I mean, it sounds cheesy, but life is worth living when you do that. Life is not worth living when you live in fear all the time, when you live behind I know that this is relevant to the times we're in, but the words that are coming to my mind and Spirit is speaking is when you live behind a mask. When you live behind a fear of a veil, of a mask, hiding yourself. And I don't mean literally don't wear masks. I'm not telling anybody that. I don't want to be held responsible for that. Wear a mask if you want. I'm not telling you not to. I'm speaking about masks figuratively, not literally. When you hide behind whatever your crutch is it a mask? Is it baggy clothing? Is it doing the same thing every Friday night because you don't know what else to do? Is it being afraid of initiating a conversation with somebody you've been wanting to talk to? Is it because you're afraid of trying something new because you think you won't be successful at it? Is it because you're afraid of traveling because people told you not to? Is it because you're afraid of trying out this new location because you think you'll hate it and then you'll fail there and you'll just go back home? What is it you've been fearing to take a chance on? Only you know that. I'm just throwing out examples. There is this rebirth in your life of Six of Cups energy as well, and the Fool. This beautiful, inspired energy of, I'm going to think like I did when I was younger. I'm speaking as if I'm you. I'm not saying this is actually me talking. I'm going to take more risks like when I was a teen or in my, early 20s or when I was a kid. I'm going to just look at things like with rose-colored glasses. It doesn't mean you don't have boundaries. We need boundaries to navigate this world. The ego creates boundaries. The soul is open and receptive and accepting. We need the boundaries to protect ourselves. I'm not telling you not to have boundaries, but what I am saying is, how can you move with the flow of your life more and what it's calling you to do and take those actions and risks and inspired choices so that you're living more, not just existing? Because I think with that risk, you're going to meet somebody along the way who's very important to your journey. And this person may be a best friend or it could be a lover, depending on your social status. Friends can be just as valuable, if not more, than the lovers that you have or even your spouse. Now, yes, I know this is coming from somebody who had an annulment. However, it's not to disregard the validity of marriage. It certainly can be very powerful, and that person can be your best friend. But what I'm trying to illustrate is that's not the only form you can find that in. You can find that through a best friend as well. Especially we as women, we have very, very, very close friends, and we could be closer with them than our own families. There is somebody, what I'm trying to say is it doesn't have to be romantic. It could be romantic or it could be a friend. There is somebody who's going to be very important to your life's journey that you're going to meet along this path because of the chance you took. Because you took inspired action through serendipity. Because you listened to those synchronicities, those signs telling you to keep going, to go forward, to do this, to do that. You're going to meet somebody along the way who's really going to change your life for the better. This also may just be somebody who gives you an offer of some kind. They don't have to be a soulmate or best friend. They can be somebody who gives you like a professional offer or a creative offer. And I feel like it involves some money for you. And if not money, just some kind of success. Ace of Pentacles is always a very good sign, number 3. So you've got the Fool. This is the most positive reading, I would say, for sure. It doesn't mean that if a reading tends to be more sad or negative, it's not valid. It's certainly valid because it teaches you how to pick yourself up from that. But the energy I'm reading from number 3 is very positive. So what are you waiting for? You're surrounded by the Two of Cups, one of the best cards in the deck. You're surrounded by the Six of Cups, again, one of the best cards in the deck. You have the Ace of Pentacles being handed to you if you just take this chance. So what are you waiting for? I think that's your message. What are you waiting for? It's time to do it. And don't be scared. All of this is waiting for you.